So sometimes we might be asked to class a gradient as positive, negative, zero, or undefined. And that might be a bit tricky. So we need to think about how we're going to do this. So a positive gradient, well, a gradient is just, so a gradient tells us how many for every step to the right, one step in x, how many steps up in the y-axis do you take? So for this example, here, for one step to the right, say we're here, from here is 4 till here is 1 step, and we take 2 steps. So that's going to be at 2, which is a positive number. So this is a positive gradient. So we need to deal with negatives, 0, or undefined as well. So Sam and Simone, these two characters here, this represents their paths, have a mate called Steve, who lives 8 kilometers north of Sam and Simone. So this is Sam and Simone's house. This is the distance north of Sam and Simone's tree. They're actually sloths, they walk very slowly. And this is time in minutes. So Steve lives 8 kilometers north of Sam and Simone. At midday, this is midday because this is minutes past midday. This 0 point here. At midday, Steve steps out of his front door and waits for Sam and Simone. They plan to walk together. He waits until they both make it to his house. Draw a graph to describe Steve's position as Sam and Simone walk to meet him. So, at midday, Steve steps out of the front door, and his front door is 8 kilometers north of Sam and Simone's house. So Sam and Simone's house is our origin, is 0 kilometers north, because we're talking about meters north, or 0 meters north, because we're talking about meters north of Sam and Simone's tree. So their tree is their house because they're sloths. So we're sitting here, and at midday, Sam and Simone are here and here, and Steve's at his house, and he's going to wait there. So his position north and south isn't going to change, right? But his position, his position with relation to time is going to change because he's going to wait. He's going to wait for half a minute, 1 minute, 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes, and he's gonna have to wait there for 3 minutes at 8 kilometers north of Sam and Simone's house before they catch up. So a graph of Sam's position, or Steve's position, as Sam and Simone walked him, would look like this. Just be a straight line. And that would have a gradient of 0. So that would mean that for every minute, for every step in the x-axis, Steve takes 0 steps north. Okay. The three of them begin to walk together, this time south, at a speed of 0.5 meter per minute. Draw a line representing their continued path. So they go 0.5 meter every minute. So in the first minute, from here to here, they're going to go 1 meter. Or they're going to go 0.5 meter. This is meters, so that's going to be this far. In the next minute, from 4.5 to 5, they're going to go another 0.5 meter. 0.5 meter. They're walking very slowly, but we've got to remember they're sloths. And in another minute, 0.5 minute, 1 minute, thinking about this axis here, they're going to go another 0.5 meter south. So the line would look like this. Like this. So this is a positive gradient, this is a gradient of 0, and this is a negative gradient, because for every step in the x, we take a negative step in the y. And finally, at 12:07, Steve slips and hits his head. Oh no, he's forgotten just about everything. He checks his watch, so he knows what time it is. It's 12:07. But he doesn't know where he is. Poor Steve. Sam and Simone hand Steve a piece of graph paper and ask him to graph where he currently is. What would he draw? So he's forgotten just about everything, but he hasn't forgotten how to draw graphs. What would he draw? Well, he knows exactly where he is in time. This is time in terms of minutes past midday, and he knows he's at 7 minutes past midday, but he doesn't know where his position is. He doesn't know if he's 2 meters north of Sam and Simone's house. He doesn't know if he's 4 meters north of Sam and Simone's house. He doesn't know if he's south of Sam and Simone's house. So all he can draw is the fact that he knows where he is in time, but he doesn't know where he is in space. His position in space is undefined. So the gradient, or his graph, is going to look like this. So this is just a interesting example where we can see 3 types of graphs. We can see a positive gradient, a negative gradient, a gradient of 0, meaning we take no steps north or south, or we take no steps in the y direction for every step in the x direction, and we have an undefined gradient. So that means even though we know where we are in x, we have an undefined y position. That's it.